You may notice as you listen to these words now, or perhaps a little later, there's something begins shifting, not on the surface, not just in the mind, but in that deep, timeless space where all real change begins. And you may not yet realise how easy it is to forget what you once believed, because now we begin installing something new. It's interesting how you can forget what once held you back and remember what always moved you forward. And so it begins. What if what you used to call a limitation was just an old lesson, wearing the costume of fear, but hiding the secret that you were ready all along? Because every failure is feedback, every obstacle a question, every doubt just a door. A door that once opened shows you were never stuck, just paused before the next leap. Isn't it curious how people think they need certainty when in truth certainty follows motion? Like walking a path you create with every step you take. You're not learning this, you're remembering it. As if you've always known, reality is not solid, it's liquid, and you are the sculptor, shaping it, not with force, but with focus. When you change focus, don't things change? The way a camera turns, a blur becomes clear, and suddenly, what was impossible is obvious. Examples. You want examples? Let's take, if I'm not good enough. That's a common one. What if? Good enough for what? For whom? According to whose measure? So let's zoom out, chunk up. Because when a seed thinks it's not a tree, it's just a matter of time. What if every doubt was just a whisper from your future self, saying, you're close, keep going? What if fear was just excitement without breath? Breathe. Now remember, all beliefs are choices, and choices can change. What you believe believes you back. So what happens when you believe? They're evolving every day. Your state shapes reality. That authenticity attracts the life you've been waiting to meet. People respond to beliefs, not facts. So what happens when you broadcast certainty? When you radiate curiosity? When your questions become catalysts? Ask a better question. How is this happening for me? You already have begun to shift. Just like that. Because metaphor is magic, and every story changes the storyteller. You see, a river doesn't argue with rocks, it flows around, over, through. Not despite the obstacle, but because of it. That's why challenges feel hard. They're evidence that you're moving, and motion is the mother of mastery. So how do you master? You obsess, you play, you fall in love with the process, because perfection is a prison, and progress is freedom. You act not because you're ready, because you're becoming. Isn't that exciting? You don't need permission. You only need to begin. And every time you begin, something inside gets stronger. Resilience, certainty, charisma. Because charisma isn't charm. It's certainty projected outward. And people always follow the strongest frame. So when your frame says, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what I choose, the world listens. People follow certainty. They follow presence. They follow energy that lights the room from within. And that is what you're stepping into now. Able to embody the beliefs that magnetize opportunity. To breathe in fear and exhale freedom. To rewrite every story as a stairway to strength. There was once a student who said to the teacher, I want to change, but I don't know how. And the teacher smiled. You already are. You just haven't caught up to your own momentum. Because belief is not an idea you hold. It's a lens you look through. And once the lens changes, the world bends to meet it. So what if right now, that lens was upgrading? Not suddenly, not loudly, but precisely, subtly, silently. You begin to transform fear into fascination, to wear confidence like skin, to mirror greatness in every interaction. And you realize You've always known how to lead, influence, inspire, because language is the lever of perception, and you're becoming a master of leverage. With every word, you reframe, you realign, you reveal. Not because you force, because you flow. You reframe limitations into questions. You chunk up and chunk down with ease. You drop metaphors like seeds into unconscious soil. And oh, how they grow. So now you can forget to remember what it feels like to not know, because you're remembering to forget. Do you ever separate from your potential? It's all beginning to make sense, even if you're not consciously aware of it yet. Because the best learnings, they're the ones that install themselves like software silently updating in the background until one day you just start acting differently. Certainty, curiosity, confidence, empathy, presence. Because now you know. You're not here to wait for the moment. You are the moment, and the moment has come.